been so long
Since you've been gone, feels good. I miss you.
So we're here.
We are again.
Yes.
It's been a while.
All right. So you initiated this.
I
So
did.
well,
I
share.
did. Okay, so here it is. We have recognized that we are on the same wavelength. We are experiencing the same thing in the journey of becoming. And as I was talking to Pamela and as I was sitting at my altar asking Spirit, what the heck am I going to do today about my sacred work? As she was speaking about something, it just dropped in. Go on, record a video for your podcast and and be in the in between with the people, because there's some medicine and nectar here to learn, to express and to share with people about, like, maybe you have released limiting beliefs or limiting behaviors and you are not quite yet where you want to be, and you're in this in between space, and it can feel discombobulating, it can feel frustrating as well. And it's almost like, oh, I'm seeing the Two of Swords card in my mind's eye. You have a choice. You have a choice to revert back to old behaviors, old ways of thinking, or you can choose to, and now I'm seeing the Nine of Wands in my head. I'm just pulling cards in my head. Or you can choose to push through this resistance, which is inevitable, especially in the path of becoming. You sent me something earlier about, like, as soon as you want to give up is probably right before you're actually about to hit the breakthrough. So that's why we're here, to be authentic, to be raw, to be in the process of, instead of waiting until we're on the other side of the finish line to share with you, hey, guess what? And I think we don't get enough stories of, like, people in it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why
Yeah.
we're here.
That is why we're here. As you were sharing, well, so Spirit has been speaking through experiences, through just kind of downloads. And this morning I was taking my walk and I was talking about this sacred in between. And, I think in life, we're like, I'm here and I got to get there. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really leaning into this idea that there is no there, that there
Mm.
is only the sacred in between,
Mm.
because everything in our life is about our becoming. Like we
Exactly.
never we
Yes.
never arrive. Like we're all, as long as we're here, as long as we're drawing breath, we're in a sacred in between. And so, like, instead of thinking of the points, I want to get here, like think of everything as a step on the path.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that's giving me like a little bit more like freedom to be like, okay. And I think the reason why we don't have a lot of stories of people talking about this in between space is because we're conditioned to produce, to prove ourselves, prove our worth, to, show up in a way that makes other people see us in the way that says, oh, they're successful, or they've done this, or they've done
Mm-hmm.
that. And I was talking to somebody online and they were talking about the in between as like a hallway. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, like if you were stuck in a hallway and you just came out of a room and you're stuck in the hallway, you're going to feel like anxious. It's a small space, right? It's like, why can't I go here? Why can't I get through this door? But I also have this realization that the hallway is still a place of support. There's like a floor that's holding you. There's walls. It's temperature controlled. You can decorate the walls. I'm really trying to have this shift in my mindset around how I am observing my life journey and the goals and the things that I want to accomplish, but seeing it as a journey instead of the destination that I'm trying to reach.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what it's about.
It is.
There, the ever, like, lasting cycle of death and
Mm.
rebirth, death
Yeah.
and rebirth, death and rebirth. So, how do we
Proceed.
How do we sit with the in between, the sacred in between? What is the lesson in the hallway? Also, as you were talking about that, I saw the five of pentacles in my
Okay.
mind's eye, and that card is about, in one particular deck that I have, her head is down, there's a door, there's a key
Mm,
that she's not even looking at. The key
girl.
is in the room. And just like in a hallway, you have a choice to walk through and explore whichever doors are available to you.
Hmm.
And so it's really about the mindset. And that the card is also about asking for help and being resourceful with what you already have instead of focusing on the lack and limitation that you're experiencing, that you're choosing to look at. How can you choose to get up, walk over, grab the key? If the
Hmm.
key is too heavy, ask for help and
Hmm.
open the door.
Hmm.
And I believe that you're like really good with analogies. You also had like this, like, oh my gosh. So I want to hear about that moment. And I also am wondering if you have like a real life analogy that we can kind of like make that a little bit more tangible for us.
Okay, so the reason why I'm like slightly emotional over here is because spirit is just showing me you hear from me. I am here. I am supporting you. And so like the emotion is like I was just talking about that this morning and I literally said the key. So when you said the key it was like oh my gosh. So the key to being in the in between is gratitude.
Mm.
So when you said the five, and I was like, is she about to say the five of cups? The five of cups is the one where
Mm.
there's spilled out cups and then there's two full cups behind him, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was what I was seeing when I was thinking about gratitude because this journey we are supported consistently, constantly. There's never a time where spirit is absent,
Right.
right? And so the key is remembering the support that we have and all of the times where spirit came through or there was a lesson for us to learn because the gratitude is what helps us get to the level where we can see the key in the room,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like
Mm-hmm.
if we're down here
Mm.
and we're in it and we're depressed, I think we can even get into the space like I just don't deserve it or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, like we're in this state of not really understanding and the way that it came out was like this victim mindset
Mm-hmm.
around things like things are happening to me, I don't have any control. We've all felt that, so I'm not dismissing that, right? I think
Mm-hmm.
that's so like it's a good awareness when we're there for us to get into gratitude. Things
Mm-hmm.
are happening for me, so we go into that manifestor consciousness, which things are happening for me. What has happened for me?
Mm.
Beginning to call on those things to lift us up, lift our
Mm-hmm.
head, and then we get to see things that we couldn't see before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so simple. Like I feel like people can like, oh, really, gratitude. That's it. But if you really think about it and you lean into something, a simple practice,
Hmm.
it doesn't have to be complicated. We think it has to be like all grandiose and cumbersome. No, leaning into gratitude, focusing on what you already have, it creates lightness in your body. It creates an openness, space for more clarity to come in.
Yes. Well, okay. Come on with it.
I was pulling cards for myself this morning and I was like, what do I need to open myself up to receive?
Mm,
And it was clarity. Open
mm,
yourself up to receive clarity. It was moon in reverse.
mm, mhm.
And gratitude is the way.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I can reflect on so many things that didn't go the way that I thought it was going to go, or, there was a delay. And, a delay is not a denial. Okay. Detours
Mm-hmm.
are how our path stays divine and intact.
Yes. Yes.
And like, it's like when we recognize those things, then we can see, oh, okay. So there's an example of when I was at this job and I was ready to move on. I felt like they weren't seeing my gifts. Like I was actually feeling like I was being used to do a whole nother job, wasn't being paid for it, wasn't planning on being paid for it, right? And I was applying for things and just getting frustrated and like, why am I still here? And it was like, okay, well, if I'm in victim consciousness, I'm here, I'm stuck, right? Like these are all the things that we tell ourselves in our brain. But if we go into manifestor consciousness and we say, things are happening for me, okay, so what's happening for me here? What's the lesson for me to learn in this hallway, in this in between?
Mm-hmm.
And then when we're focused on, oh, okay, I'm right where I'm supposed to be to get the things that I need to get, and I can recall the things that I did get, what spirit has taught me, where spirit has brought me from. And then I'm not even focused on the door that I've been trying to bang down. I'm just looking around. Where's what other lessons? Oh, look at this window over here. There was a win. Look at that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Let me see, what can I learn about the window? Right? It's not even about, oh, let me
Mm.
escape there. It's like, oh, what can I learn about the window? Oh, it moves up like, oh, it just opened up.
Mm.
What's out
Mm-hmm.
here? Right? So when we get into this space of being curious, curious, not furious about the situation. Okay, hold on. Let me tell you. Let me tell you where that comes from. So, I did this training about, how do we navigate situations, right, with people who are difficult. And one of the things is like be curious, not furious. Like we can get
Mm-hmm.
furious with. So anyway, that I guess that works for the in-between space too, right?
Yeah.
Be curious, not furious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And that again puts us in a space to receive, to see.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, okay, so we did come on here to say we are in the in between.
We are
We're
here.
in the thick of it.
Yeah.
So what does that look like in what we're experiencing right now? What does being curious, not furious look like? What does exploring other options and opportunities that are right there in front of our faces that we haven't allowed ourselves to lift up and focus on or look and observe?
Yeah.
What does that look like right now?
Okay, well, let's talk about it. Okay. We were doing this podcast. We started this podcast on just Monique supporting you, us doing something together that was fun, reading cards and like sharing insight, sharing how we connect and how that has helped us grow. And throughout it, we kept getting these messages and sharing them and then being like, oh, that was for us too. Isn't that nice? Right. Right. And then we felt like the need to pause, like to pause, to
Mm-hmm.
reflect. And it wasn't too long into the pause where where
Probably the next week.
where this desire just kind of rose up. And now I've had the desire, we've talked about this before, about doing retreats together, about we
Mm-hmm.
feel like we have a sacred calling to answer and that it involves a collaboration with one another.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And, I have really been, I'll talk about myself and then I'll let you kind of share your journey on that. But um, desiring to create space for people to come and experience a shift in their perspective, a shift in their energy, for them to raise their baseline, right?
Mm-hmm.
And to be in a space where they can be in community intentionally and also enjoy really awesome spaces in the world. I love to travel. And so retreats just has been calling me for at least 4 or 5 years. And I was like, I kind of want to do retreats. And it's like, well, how do I do that? I mean, I have clients, I have people that I work with, but I don't know how to move them from what I've been doing to w- this level of work. Like, I don't know how to get from here to there. And, even having a bigger dream of creating intentional community, it's this other magnificent idea that is rising up within me, and it's like it seems so big. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to start. What if I fail? What if it doesn't work? What if, all of these questions, but having this deep desire to create this thing that supports people, that supports the collective. And so it's like I'm just going for it. But it's an in-between space because I don't know how this is going to go and I don't know what to do, but I am trusting spirit to be a guide and to assist and support in the way that spirit has assisted and supported me in the past. So that's a little bit about where I am and, my in-between space right now.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. As you were talking, I was actually having a little bit of a revelation.
You tell.
And so, yeah, we agreed that yes, we have something to put into this world together that has been confirmed, and confirmed over and over again. And we also agreed that we wanted to do retreats together. I have been desiring to bring community, like to create community as well, that feels healing, that feels connected, deeply connected, that feels wholesome, that feels supportive. And as you were talking, I was thinking about how I have been pulling this card, Three of Pentacles, over and over and over again. And I'm sitting here thinking, like, okay, so what happened? Yes, I was like, yes, I want to do the retreats. And then I will like pull back and be like, I don't even know how that's possible. And then I'll lean in again and then I'll come. It's like, and I was sitting here thinking, have I been in resistance to collaborating with you? And not like with you, like I love you to pieces. You already know that. Love you to pieces. And sometimes you can feel like you're leaning into something, but you're there's something in your energy that isn't leaning all the way in.
Mhm.
And I was just observing that in myself. And then I also was observing, like, when I do lean in, how we experience this incredible momentum, this incredible fulfillment and excitement. Like, I feel that. I don't know if you feel that as well, but it feels fun. It feels exciting. And yesterday you was like, what will be fun for you to do? And there's this belief also that I have been tangoing with around you have to do it on your own. You have to do it by yourself. I was literally just saying sometimes you have to ask for help. And sometimes that asking for help is collaborating with people. And no, you're not here to prove anything. You're here to offer help, offer healing, and be the lit leader that you are.
Oh, come on, that lit leader.
Oh
Yes.
my gosh. I got that from Shaman Durek, by the way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just was experiencing that while you were talking, a little bit more of like facing my shadow of, oh, I actually have been afraid to lean all the way in. And I feel like it's more so what's coming up right now is scarcity around time in many different ways, time in the day or even time as a person. Yeah. So what happens when we lean all the way in? Well, what happens is we invite you to our retreat that's happening in September. That's what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Wait. Okay. Yes. So, I just wanted to touch on that collaboration piece because it's so funny. It's like Spirit is just like, yep, confirming the stuff that was spoken to me this morning about collaboration and like even collaboration with Spirit. Like sometimes it's hard. We feel like I got to do it by myself. I got to do this. We have this like way that we've been trained, it's this rugged individualism that says I pulled myself up from my bootstraps, and nobody does anything by themselves.
Hmm.
This belief that we can do it all by ourselves, it doesn't it doesn't support community.
Exactly.
It supports this competition instead of collaboration. We got
Hmm.
enough of that in this world. We don't need more of that. We need
Right.
more of people knowing their unique purpose. We
Hmm.
need people using their gifts in collaboration with one another. We need people who are ready to serve one another with said gifts and being in alignment with spirit to do what we came to do. So we're moving through the next level of consciousness, channel consciousness. We are allowing spirit to use us to move through us with others. And how we bring heaven to earth. I don't want to sound so hokey, but that is how it's like, that's how we create the world that works for us all. Right. And so creating space for people to recognize their divine purpose. That's a part of what we're going to be doing on this retreat. Holding ourselves in a space where we can really look at our shadow and look at the limiting beliefs, look at the ways of being that are keeping us feeling stuck, right? How can we rise? How can we lift our heads and see the support that's always been there? And then rise into our greatest yet to be. And so that's what this retreat is about. It's called Magnetize. It's a vision casting retreat for women ready to rise. It is about us being in community, holding one another, and holding with sacred reverence our becoming.
Absolutely. And it's on a cruise ship.
Yes. So you ain't got to worry about nothing.
And the idea also is we want to offer you tools and tips on how to integrate and bring magic into the mundane. How do you be the vibration of the person who calls in this vision in everyday tasks, in setting your intentions, in all the things? So we will practice that while we're on the ship and going through our vacation.
Yes, it's not one of those things where you're going to be sitting in a room the whole day. No, the intention of this is one, to get you into a space that is luxe, that is like tending to your needs so that you can feel in real time the support that is already existing for you, right? And be able to lift your vibration to this place of joy, of abundance, of peace, of camaraderie, of collaboration, of seeing the possibilities, and then being able to vision from that place,
Mm-hmm.
holding that vision, anchoring in that vibration
Mm-hmm.
once you go back home.
Yeah. I think the best time or place to set a goal or to create a new vision for your reality is when you're outside of your usual space, because that space is an anchor for you. It holds a vibration. It reminds you of something, right? And so when you're away from that space, you get to relax, you get to down regulate your nervous system, and it opens you up to more possibilities, limitless possibilities. And so when you dream away from home, and you also, we're going to be creating plans together, you are able to come back with a different focus, a different vibration, and it'll be easier for you to hold that vibration in that space and create a new anchor in that space as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think this is also a good place to mention that if you need a momcation too, this is a a, like a perfect time because this is an adults only cruise. So you're not going to be around any other kids. You know what I mean? You're
Mm-hmm.
going to get to focus on yourself. You're going to get to be who you really are without all the responsibilities that are calling you, being a wife, preparing the meals, doing this, doing that, taking care of kids. No, this is for you. This is for you to reset, refocus, realign, and then come back refreshed. And so we're going to be providing you with ways to intentionally leave. This is for everyone, right? Like, how do you prepare to receive, right? Before you leave. That's a really important process. Whenever I come back, because I intentionally, there's things that I do, it's a ritual. And when I come back, it is completely different. Now, you have to hold that. You have to practice being able to hold that vibration and continue to be the person that you envisioned and you embodied while you were away. And we'll be providing practices for that, support for that as well. We have a portal that will support you before you leave, while you're there, and after you leave.
It's exciting.
This is an invite only, but we do have space for a few people who are really feeling called to attend.
Mm-hmm.
If something within you pinged when you heard about this, this is an opportunity for you. So please reach out to us. Our soulful connections at gmail.com.
Yay. All right, boo.
Well, this was awesome. Thank you for suggesting it. I
It was
feel,
spirit.
yes, and I feel more excited, energized, and, seeing even greater possibilities on the horizon. If you would like to sponsor this retreat or any of our future retreats, please also reach out to us at
Yes.
oursoulfulconnection@gmail.com.